Gaikoku Gamers.
Bite-sized.
Oh, welcome to another episode of Gaikoku Gamers Bytesized. I'm Darryl Benson, and I'm here to talk to you guys today about the thing that I said I was going to talk to you guys about a couple days ago, but we're just a little bit behind. But the good news is that we'll be doing multiple videos tonight, so everybody wins. So that thing off in the corner that I was talking to you guys about in the Xbox One Sunset Overdrive White System Bundle unboxing video, boy, that's a mouthful, was a PlayStation Vita 2000. And this is no ordinary PlayStation Vita 2000. This is the Japanese model, which arguably looks a shitload better than the American model, because Japan hates us and they don't like us having fun shit. So, this is my PlayStation Vita 2000, and as you'll notice, it is bright lime green on the back, which I actually really like that color combination. And frankly, I've always was under the belief system that systems look better in white when they're portable. Mainly because you're touching them all the time, and black shows fingerprints like you wouldn't believe. And this green is light enough. It's actually darker in person. Can't really get an accurate color here. Yeah, it's a little darker than, not by much, but a little darker than this. But it's light enough that it doesn't show any fingerprints, really, which is fantastic. And of course, the white is light enough that it doesn't show any either. The system itself is very well made. Better made than the original Vita, and I did not think I was actually going into this with that belief structure in mind as I came out, and sure enough I did. The triggers are wider right here, and they're easier to push down. You can push them down up here, push them down on the sides, push them down all around. The power button is up here. Big fat power button, I love it. Easy to turn it on, easy to turn it off. The volume, of course, are up here. You have this bay door here, right here, which houses your game card. It's a big door. I think it's a little bit bigger than the old one, because now the SD card slot is down here, as you can see. You have earphones, micro SD to charge. The power, or the PlayStation home button, is much bigger, raised, easier to press, as are the start and select. In fact, I love the start and select buttons, and I no longer want to chuck my system halfway across the room when I want to use them. The face buttons feel better as well, although they feel just a little bit closer together. The joysticks feel exactly the same, as does the D-pad. What I really like, though, about the system is the screen seems to be kind of its own thing. As you can tell, the system has a bezel around the screen, and it just helps separate visually the screen from the rest of the system. One thing I don't like about Sony handhelds is that they tend to just kind of look like a hole was cut in a casing in a controller, and they just put a screen in there. This kind of feels like it was better designed, and I really appreciate that. One thing I don't like, the camera is still in a retarded position, and unlike my JXD 7800B 16 gigabyte handheld, which is amazing, just beware who you buy it from, because most of the Chinese retailers who are selling it suck for customer service. Unlike my JXD, where despite the fact that the camera's on the opposite end of the JXD, but it's the same type of stupid off to the side thing. Despite the fact that it's off to the side, the camera is pointed this way a bit towards your face, which is how it should work. This is not. So if you're playing a game like Tearaway, where you're constantly being shown in the middle of the game as God or user or whatever the fuck they call you, when you're playing the game like a normal person, you're like, oh, this is fun, I'm having fun now. And it's like, oh, look, there's a you. And you don't see anything, because the camera literally goes over your shoulder. It's not even minutely pointed towards the center. It's a really stupid design, and I hate it. The back pads are wider. I like them a lot better. The touch back pad is smaller than my original Vita. However, I didn't really notice. I just know it's smaller in dimension, but I did not physically notice. One thing that seems to be a cause for debate is the screen. And I know that everybody and their mother seems to be a huge... interesting. Seems to be a huge fan of OLED screens this, OLED screens that, OLED, OLED, OLED. And I'm sure that if you had them side by side, you'd be able to tell a difference. But this screen is freaking gorgeous, and it's extremely colorful, and it's extremely battery savvy, and I love it. And, you know, like I said, it might not be technically as good as the OLED, but it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, it's very good. And coming from the 3DS XL, as I have, it's still like frickin' night and day compared to the competition. It's still night and day compared to the competition, compared to many smartphones out there. In fact, yeah, okay, maybe I like my Nexus 5 just a smidge more, but the fact that, you know, this is not very expensive, and it looks nearly on par with the Nexus 5, that's not bad. I'm going to go ahead and get into some games here, though. First game, as you saw, is Tearaway. Tearaway is obviously from the creators of Little Big Planet, and I don't mean that as a joke. I mean that as, when you're playing it, you can obviously tell it's from the creators of Little Big Planet. And for me, that's kind of a bad thing. Not that Little Big Planet is bad, but there seems to be a major problem, at least for me, in which I feel that there's not actual content in Little Big Planet so much as you're supposed to just make your own shit. Which, you know, if that's how it's supposed to be, then fine. But I buy video games to play someone else's creation, not to sit there for 80,000 hours and make my own. And I always kind of felt that the single-player events in Little Big Planet were a little lacking. And this kind of takes it one step further. Once again, you have the customization factor. Once again, you can make up your own stuff. Once again, you have to stick things that you make on other people. You know, as you NPCs as you go by. It's very Little Big Planet-esque. But the cool thing about Little Big Planet was that while the single-player campaign was a bit short, I enjoyed the mechanics. That's not so much. Pretty much all the enemies that are sitting on paper with, you know, X's and squares and O's and triangles on it, you just poke your finger on the back side of the back panel and it looks like it's poking through the paper. And you can just go like this, and everybody's dead. Not very challenging. The enemies are called scraps, and it turns out that all you have to do in order to kill those is wait until they stumble, pick them up, and throw them. You can throw them into another enemy, you can throw them off a cliff, you can throw them on the ground, 1 foot away from where they were. It really doesn't matter, they will die. Yeah. That's not very exciting, I'm sorry, but there's no means for you to really truly attack, at least not yet. This is not a review, I'm just telling you where I'm at right now, and I'm a little disappointed. You don't even get to frickin' jump until a little later in the game, which is a little weird, because frankly, I kind of liked not jumping. I liked not jumping because I liked that I had to be Mr. User God, and I liked how I had to, on certain panels, make him jump by tapping the bottom of the panel. And when they give you the power of the jump, it's almost like you're not needed anymore in many respects. And it's a lot of style, it's a lot of creativity, and no substance, which is pretty much my view of Little Big Planet. So, whatever. I don't really care about that game. I did pick this up though for $6, and I played the demo back when I got my Vita at launch, and I didn't much like the demo at all for whatever reason. And I have to bite my tongue here because frankly Hot Shots Golf World Invitational is actually fantastic. Been having a lot of fun with this game. I mean, It's no wonder. I mean, Hot Shots is typically a good series. For whatever reason, the demo they put out back then was just not very convincing. But I've actually been playing this game more often than not on my lunch breaks at work on my Vita. So, thank you, Vita, for giving me some more shit to play on the go. Anyway, so between the JXD 7800B and the PlayStation Vita 2000, my on-the-go experiences are pretty much full. As far as the 3DS, I really kind of been there, done that. I've had so many 3DSs, it's not even funny. And frankly, I feel like I've kind of played everything I need to play. I've bought dozens of games for that system, and sometimes the system just gets to that point where you just feel like I'm done. And what's really odd about this is I usually feel that way towards systems towards the end of their generation, where I just feel like I've just done everything I want to do and I just want new hardware. And the sad reality is that the 3DS is just not that old. Maybe it's just, a sign of mobile times where everything just gets bigger and better and bigger and better. But, next to the Vita, especially in 2014, the 3DS just feels archaic. And the games are fun, don't get me wrong, the games are very fun, very fun. But again, I feel like I've been there, done that, and I just want a bigger upgrade than the new 3DS is going to offer me. So that's the PlayStation Vita 2000. I really dig it. I do not recommend you getting the US model. The US model sucks ass. Get the Japanese model and go ahead and pre-order a few games. Pre-order Fighting Climax, which is Sega's new 2D brawler, which has 3D backgrounds from the likes of such series as Sonic the Hedgehog and Phantasy Star 1 and 2. And I would also go ahead and consider, if you're okay with maybe trying to figure out some Japanese, Phantasy Star Nova, which again is another Japanese release. Don't bother with Phantasy Star 2, because as much as we all want to play it, Sega's announced that they're basically IP banning anyone from outside Japan. Thanks, Sega. Seriously, as someone who absolutely loved you all the way through the Dreamcast era, literally from Master System to Dreamcast era, I was your man. And this is all I have to offer you. We've gone from this to this. This to this. Anyway. What's the other game? There's some cooking game that's kind of kinky. Senron something. It's that brawler that's kind of making the rounds right now. There's a cooking game that's coming out, which isn't coming to the States. That looks pretty fun. And that's it. In December, Gundam Breaker 2, which looks really, really, really cool. It's Gundam Breaker is a series that uses the same engine as that Jump series game that has like Dragon Ball Z and Naruto and all that type of stuff that just recently came out. Actually, not recently. I think it was like late 2013. It's the same exact engine. So basically, if you like that game and you like Gundams, you're going to be well at home here. So there you go. I think the Vita has a lot to offer. Just not in the States. Sorry. But it does seem to be the case that a lot of Japanese games are making their way over to the United States of America, which is good. So if you feel a little import queasy, you do have some selection, but all the games I just mentioned are not coming to America. So you still have a reason to import stuff. And frankly, they're getting new releases all the time. It's the second best selling in Japan. Last time I checked, it's probably the least popular system here in the United States of America, on the other hand. So releases are going to be slim there, releases are going to be bountiful over there. So if you like Japanese style games, if you like Sega, if you like Nintendo, those type of quirky, type of fucked up games, go ahead and get yourself a PS Vita. And if you don't want to spend the $212 or whatever the hell it is plus shipping to get it from PlayAsia, do what I did and get one used off eBay. I got it well under $200, free shipping, in mint like new condition with the box and everything. So do buy your games new though, because despite the fact that you are buying them from a different country, you still give that money to the developer, and we all want to get new games and, you know, pirating and such, and buying used, which is basically, in my personal opinion, the same as pirating. It doesn't help anybody. So yeah, there you go. PlayStation Vita 2000, not too shabby. So go ahead and check it out if you're interested. If you have any questions, please go ahead and list them down below in the comment section. Please be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. You would have been appreciate the new subscribers. Thank you very much. Those 2 people who went ahead and recently said, I like you enough to subscribe. And I'm Darryl Benson, and we'll see you once again today. Because I'm making like 2 other videos. Just wait a few more minutes and I shall make them and upload them. And go ahead and check those out too. Until then, Darryl Benson.